This 2023 fantasy football preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon. Score exclusive perks, content, and contests, including our NFL win totals contest with $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is offering you a chance to win $15 million in prizes with Best Ball Mania 4. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. We're also brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any college football bet. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. Finally, we're brought to you by our College Football Bankroll Challenge. Up to $3,000 up for grabs. Get all the details over at sportsgamblingpockets.com/bankroll.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Let's just call it the summer of fantasy. 2023, the summer of fantasy. We had lots of fantasies fulfilled, both for us, our team members. Who can forget Andrew Robb at the Fantasy Expo? Lots of fantasies fulfilled there. Me drafting for 24 hours once again, raising $10,000, not for my daughter's volleyball program,
Yes,
but for a great cause. I'm able. Shout out to them.
I'm Able Foundation. Awesome work there. Shout out once again to everyone donated. Great foundation. And yeah, we're here. This is our official fantasy football preview. We've done and feel free to go back and check those out. Our top 10 lists by position. We did those early on in the summer. Obviously, we've done a ton of these Best Ball Mania drafts, but now we thought it would be fun kind of to close things out, to put a button on our fantasy content, is to go round by round and give out our guy, aka my guy, and fuck this guy. So basically someone we really like in that round and someone we really hate.
Yeah, and shout out to the
and hate is a strong word, Ryan, and I'm not afraid to use the word hate.
Shout out to the old.
I love how everyone's so scared. I don't mean to say anything negative about this player, but no, I'm here to talk some shit on some players and then hype up some players I really like.
And real quick, like not what 5 years ago, Matthew Berry used to have a love hate or whatever.
Oh yeah, they got rid of the hate.
That was before it was. I look. I think it's just a crazy world. I was going to throw another shout out to another podcast. It's okay because it doesn't exist anymore. But Titus and Tate, they used to have the my guy Kyle guy. I almost feel like we need to figure out a fuck this guy and just needs to be like a Tony Romo or like just an honorary figurehead of someone I'm not drafting, someone who will be 0%, real 0%. I will be putting out a graphic later, probably next week, that has all of the guys I have 0% ownership of in best ball. In order to have 0% exposure, you have to have them, but it has to round down to 0. Whereas guys who I'm just not drafting, like for example, Zeke, big fat Zeke. Did we break the news about his weight problems in New England already?
Yeah, I mean he gave it a little chunky. They got the sauna suit on him.
Oh, Matt Belichick doesn't take any shit. Hey, fat ass, put this on.
He saw the photo of him and Mac Jones out to eat. You're carving up before the season. What are you doing?
Well, he first said, "Why the fuck were you sitting on the same side of the table?"
Still haven't gotten to the bottom of that. Obviously, make sure you check out. We just did part 2. Part 1 as well. College football picks week 1, all over that, and just announced our college football bankroll challenge. $1,000 the first, $500 the second, but the prize is double if you're in our Patreon. If you're a Patreon for the football season, prize is double, up to $2,000 and $1,000 there for second. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bankroll to get started over there.
Yeah, basically, if you don't think you're a sharp, no need to sign up for the Patreon.
If you don't believe in yourself, this will be. It's gonna be.
Are you a loser?
If someone
then stay away.
Yeah, if someone makes the horrible mistake of winning the contest without being in the Patreon, oh man, the shame you will get from the SGPN community. You'll have to live with yourself.
I feel like you almost have to come on the show and defend yourself.
Why did you not believe in yourself to sign up for our very reasonably priced Patreon, which you also get entry into the $1,000 NFL win totals contest, bonus episodes. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, if you're just a contest guy, it's basically a weekly contest plus all these extra seasonal ones that we didn't talk about beforehand. Sean's just off in the other room jerking off to contests. Just here, you get a contest. You get a contest. Yeah, leaving Sean idle, contests will be created.
I'm a contest guy. Know what the folks want. They want contests. They also want bonuses. Our listeners love bonuses, love free bets. Hey, have you signed up with DraftKings Sportsbook? If not, what are you doing? College football week 1 is here. Kicking off Thursday nights. Oh man, what a glorious weekend for college football. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So many chances to win. You sign up over the DraftKings Sportsbook. You use the promo code SGP. $200 in bonus bets instantly. Shout out to you, state of Kentucky. Kentucky just coming around with some legalized gambling. Perfect time to hop in. Use that promo code SGP. Get in on the action. Download that DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on college football only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Let's get it, baby.
Pairs well with toothpaste. I think the college experience would say.
Oh yeah. Bring your toothpaste.
Legalize sports gambling and toothpaste. Not a better combo out there. All right. So as most drafts do, they start with the first pick. Before we start, can I just? I feel like I need to say something.
Sure.
The pendulum swinging from negativity to positivity is getting out of control. This, I mean, maybe in the box. Too much of the fantasy Twitter in my timeline. This whole I love my home league shit. No, you don't. If you loved your home league so much, you'd hang out with those people more than once a year. It's fucking ridiculous. It's disgusting. I'm watching people like I lived in West Hollywood for 4 years.
Yes.
And it's the same vibes as Pride Parade. Just a strong, hey, look at me. Look at my home league. We've been friends for 32 years. Fuck off. I don't care.
People touting their friendship on the internet is a weird flex, I would say.
You know what felt really good? The year we killed our home league, Sean. Felt fucking great.
Yeah, a home league.
One less thing to do.
Home league is like
$100. What the fuck am I going to do with $100?
Home league's like a pet that it's just time. You got to take that home league out. It's never a fun drive to the vet's office. Bring the home league there. Got to put
fantasy's all about the community.
Old fashioned football saying, but he does love his home league.
That's fine. You can love your home league.
Yeah.
But just like your sick ass fantasy team, everyone else doesn't need to hear about it.
Oh, Ryan, I was gonna have us. Well, this is probably not the best time to bring it up, but we should tell people the team we drafted in our high stakes fantasy league. We streamed it to the Patreon. It was like a bonus free stream we tossed on late.
If you're not interested, skip ahead like 60 seconds. We'll be done quickly.
Real quick, name off our team.
Well, now I got to bring it up.
Yeah, it's too funny not to include.
I mean, yeah, I felt like the draft went okay.
Ryan's just mad because we got Justin Fields.
It wasn't. J Mark's going to be excited, but all right. Here's the squad. We have 12 team PPR, full point PPR coming out of the 11 spot. Justin Fields, AJ Brown, Deebo Samuel, Saquon Barkley, Samaje Perine.
We got you, Saquon, Ryan.
Chig, and we got Chig, Mike Williams, Mike Evans, Zay Flowers, Kenneth Gainwell, Tyler Algier, Raheem Mostert, and Tajay Spears. So we'll call that a hero RB approach with a look. I don't hate Justin Fields in this scenario. I didn't like it because we took him ahead of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
that's all. I like him when he's the last running, like the last top notch guy excluding Vanilla Vic, obviously.
Yeah, anyway, out on Lamar.
That's enough. Moving forward. Yeah, I gave this whole piece about how I mean, truly, I could give two shits about your home. Like, don't show me a picture of your home league.
And
it's like showing me a picture of your kids on Twitter. That's not what X is for. Stop using your kids.
Gonna give it to you.
You know what? While I'm at it, stop using your kids for engagement.
No children engagement farming.
I mean, look, it's fine. Teach them blackjack on your own time. Teach them how to bet on your own time.
I enjoy seeing kids getting involved in gambling content at a young age. You know, teaching the youth. I appreciate that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't mind that.
Okay. So kids gambling related.
Putting your kid's face on the I judge parents if they're posting pictures of their kid's face on X. You're unaware of how the real world works if you're doing that. So I'm gonna judge you.
Parenting 101.
Yeah. So home leagues and pictures of your kid's face not needed on X.
All right, Ryan, let's do it. My guy, fuck this guy. Round one. Who's your guy? Who are you?
Just had this really personal moment. Let me post the picture to X real quick. All right, my guy. Obviously, I almost did not go Saquon Barkley.
Really?
Here. Well, I think in so much of the offseason, we've been drafting him in the 3rd round and the 2nd round. Now, as predicted by me, not you, by me, we're nearing week 1. And where is he going in all leagues, including underdog now?
Yeah.
End of the 1st round.
Congrats.
Because people are wising up. So obviously Barkley's my guy. Fucking team guy showed up, took a shitty contract to be there with the boys.
He held out to get a exact same deal.
He didn't hold out. He got back. He didn't miss a day of practice.
Okay.
Didn't miss a day of practice. If this guy was on the Eagles, you would love his team first attitude. You would fucking love it. You wouldn't be sitting there with your fucking calculator. He took a bad deal.
No,
my guy Saquon Barkley.
If you're gonna hold out, at least get a better deal like Josh Jacobs did. Who are
he
you?
Didn't hold out.
Okay.
He missed some fucking OTAs. Get over yourself. You sound like these home league guys. Fuck this guy, CeeDee Lamb. Have you not been paying attention? This offense is not going to be funneling the ball through CeeDee Lamb anymore.
No.
They also brought in Brandon Cooks. I think they're going to try to run the ball. I understand the logic for CeeDee Lamb. I understand how you could say, oh, there's not as much competition. Brandon Cooks is competition. And so much like so many other wide receivers in the 1st round landscape that have competition, CeeDee Lamb low with this offense, with what I think they're going to try to do, low ceiling, can't take him in the 1st round.
For me, my guy, give me Cooper Kupp. We're talking full point PPR here, Ryan. Like, man. And
that's
Cooper
the sound
Kupp,
of a boomer.
Cooper Kupp was on the boomer is full point PPR.
No, I'm just joking because you're taking the old injured white receiver.
Also, the guy who was on pace to have the most catches of all time in the National Football League. There's so many ways Cooper Kupp gets there. One, including that he's the entire Rams offense. Two, in a world where maybe the Rams defense isn't that good, they have to throw the ball a bunch. 3, he's completely healthy. He can't I just don't see a scenario where he doesn't get an insane amount of targets.
I think he's in a category with, probably Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, where he's going to dominate the targets. Like, I don't think you can even say this about Justin Jefferson with Hawkinson there. Now that Hawkinson's over his ear infection, AKA he got paid. Yeah. So I also love Cooper. I think people are hating on him. You nailed it. The nugget I had from our fantasy episode was only Tyreek Hill had more targets weeks 1 through 9. So I mean that's a pace.
And he had the most catches too. Like and even when they weren't doing well, he was still getting those.
People are scared. Like underdog this morning, I got him 7th still. So
no, people are worried about the injury stuff, which I get. But again, if you're drafted in fantasy, you're drafted to win the fucking thing. Like
so lately, if I'm drafting 4th or later, and he's there, I take him. No thought.
For me, fuck this guy, Bijan Robinson.
Whoa, Sean.
I mean, we see this every year where they put these running backs up here. To me, it's less. Now, again, to be clear, I think Bijan Robinson is good at football. I think he provides some value. I don't think he was a good draft pick considering what the Falcons needed to succeed and considering the draft capital they used on him. That being said, I do think
tired ass take.
No, what do you mean tired ass take? I'm on Take Island here. It's not even Bijan sucks as a football player. Dude, they just have so many other guys. They have Kyle Pitts. They have Drake London.
Save this for the GM show.
I'm out on him because the competition.
All right.
They described him as a weapon.
Yeah.
Anytime they describe him as a player as a weapon, dude, you can when a coach is going to use the shit out of a player, this is what they said. Oh, We love this guy. He's going to be on the field all the time. We're drawing up. This is what they say when they're going to use him sporadically. You know, he can win in a lot of ways. He's a weapon. He's going to find different. We also really like Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier is a sledgehammer. Bijan Robinson, he's like
bowling ball is the quote.
Bijan's the bowling ball.
No. Tyler Algier. He's a 220-pound bowling ball.
He at some point
also called him a sledgehammer.
Yes.
He is a mustache guy. He probably has a lot of good power analogies.
Yeah. So Bijan Robinson, I'm out just because of the target competition.
I
know people say, "Oh yeah, what they're going to draft a guy in the top 10, skill player, and not use him." Yeah, a la Kyle Pitts, a la Drake London.
Okay. Yeah, I
show me. I'll counter with show me a top 10 skill position player that Arthur Smith drafted that had a great fantasy year.
I will say this
compared to their ADP.
The proof is in the pudding, right? And when I go look up Bijan, because I think I'm with you at cost. I have Bijan at 8%, and a lot of that is him falling to the second round. So I'm kind of with you. There's just a lot of other running backs I would rather take at this range, or receivers. Honestly, I think that's the biggest sled going against a guy like Bijan. All right, round 2.
Real quick, after the draft, Coach Arthur Smith described Algier as the sledgehammer in his new offense.
I'm glad you got that one in there. I mean,
well, that just shows.
Sean, you're talking to a guy who has a 65-1 bet on Tyler Algier to lead the division in rushing. I get it, and again, I think his competition for work is greater than people are giving. Credit for.
Bijan, if he's in the second round somehow, sure, but everyone's gonna. We have this with the sexy rookies every year.
But the thesis is, holy shit! What if he got 100 targets? That's why. Like, what if he's Austin Eckler in this?
Yeah,
offense?
I guess I just don't see a
world
where
wrong.
Where he gets the 100 targets and the bell cow running back workload like Eckler.
Oh, what I'm saying is though, like Eckler would get it done just with 7 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown every week. And if Bijan's doing that and he's getting 12 carries, like I think if Bijan's getting the targets, he only needs 10 to 15 carries. And so he won't be. I guess
that's the other problem, though, is that Eckler had 107 receptions last year because they run the ball, or sorry, they throw the ball a ton. Arthur Smith's offense doesn't throw the ball that much.
True, but I mean, your shade towards the ability to get the ball to London and Pitts should defer you to the idea that he could collect a lot of low ADOT easy catches, and those still count a point at a time. That's all I'm saying. Like if he gets to a certain amount of catches, it's going to be hard for him to not hit this value. But
why do you make Bijan your guy, Ryan? You seem like you really like him.
Oh, because I do think he has a case. I'm not completely out on him like you are. All right, round 2. I think when we talked fantasy back in, was it June? I had this guy, Davante Adams, in my top 5. Not a ton has changed. I'm maybe a little bit worried about the starter, but the backup seems competent, and it's still Davante Adams.
Yeah,
Josh Jacobs being back makes me feel better about him, and he is sliding. I mean, it used to be beginning of second round, or late first round. Now you're getting him mid to late second round, and so I think we're just forgetting that he's the most dominant receiver. He's still the most physically dominant receiver in the NFL. And he's still a guy, one of the few guys on the top of this list that has, for season after season, dominated a 30% target share, which is something that's hard to do. It means you're really good. It means you can get open in many different ways. And so I don't quite understand drafting number 2s like Waddle over him. I don't even really I'm not even sure I would, as much as I see the case for Garrett Wilson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, I don't even know if I'm doing it in that case with the questions around quarterback. So Davante Adams, big time, my guy. And I wanted to do this just so people don't think I'm full of shit.
I mean, Davante Adams had a really good last year, and the Raiders still sucked at 6-11.
So I have him at 15% right now in underdog. And a lot of that is just, there's a lot of receivers there probably, but I love him. Like the way he's being drafted right now.
Fuck that guy. Who do you got?
Oh, Jonathan Taylor. This a lot has changed.
Yeah, I mean, where are you getting this second round ADP right?
The link on the fucking sheet, Sean. I I mean, should we replace him? I almost feel like I should replace him in real time. But Jonathan Taylor is he playing this year? Can you even draft him? Let's just have the conversation. Are you drafting him under any circumstances?
I mean, I think you would have to consider like the 4th or 5th round, maybe.
I mean, isn't there real? He might not actually play.
No, I think he has to play because he has to accrue the years. Otherwise, he would just be right back.
What if they just IR'd him or whatever? Like they kept him on the pup.
Yeah, no, but I think they want him to play. He's kind of being a baby and saying my ankles bother me, so they're like, all right, fine, we'll put you on this 4-game pup thing, knocking out any chance you leave the team. And I think he doesn't have any leverage. I think he's going to have to come back to the team and have to play if he wants to get to free agency, which these guys want to do.
So you would draft
if he doesn't play at all, he's back here at Indy next year with the same deal.
Yeah.
So I do think in like the 4th or 5th round, maybe, but I don't know. You don't need Jonathan Taylor in your team. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pivot here, it would be Tony Pollard, which, pretty obvious play, fade the Cowboys. I just, injury and all. But yeah, I think this is I actually think the second round's a hard round to screw up. If you take a receiver, you take a quarterback.
Andrew Robb pointing out he got him in the 5th round in his most recent draft. All right, 5th round, you could talk me into it. I mean, there is a world where.
But in managed, are you taking him? You can't. There's no IR spot for him. Like, do you even want that headache?
I mean, I guess the counter is if he gets traded to another team, he's a league winner. But I don't think anyone's going to trade for him because you have to give up stuff and also sign him to a new deal.
They wanted Jalen Waddle.
Why would they?
They wanted Jalen Waddle for Jonathan.
The Colts
Taylor.
don't want to trade him, and no one's going to give up what the Colts want. We just saw this.
All right, I'll lame pivot to Tony Pollard, but
all right,
we needed to talk about Taylor. He's, by the way, his ADP is in the 3rd round. So,
my guy 2nd round, obviously Jalen Hurts, just confirmed dog. I think you just keep looking at the stats in the 4th quarter for this Eagles team. They were pretty low, and it was because they were up a bunch in games and they were just sitting on the ball. They didn't need to keep racking up points. I mean, there was a number of games where they up like the Commanders game. They were up at like 20 at half, and then put up 3 points in the second half as they kind of just were like a python and just squeezed the life out of the other team. They're going to have some more competitive games. I think, obviously you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, San Francisco 49ers, some top teams in the league. So I think you're going to have to put up points in the 4th quarter. Jalen Hurts, I think if anything, you could say he's going to get more goal line work than he did previously. They love using the tush push.
Why do you say that? He had 20 carries inside the 5 last year, which was only second to the outlier performance from Jamal Williams with 28. And so like he was 4 clear of 3rd place, who was Zeke Elliott.
Yeah. I think, cause I don't think
hard to predict he's going to be even better or you do even more in the red zone.
I guess I just think in general, the Eagles offense is going to have to do more than they did last year. So maybe it's not just him running, but I think if you correlate the amount of touchdowns the Eagles scored, we're pretty tied to the amount of rushing touchdowns Jalen Hurts scored. So I think if they score more touchdowns, more points, which I think they will, because they're going to have to in these type of game scripts, Jalen Hurts will thereby score more rushing touchdowns. That's kind of the theory.
I feel like they'll move. Yeah. I mean, they'll just push either to the passing side or they'll stay rushing.
Yeah. I guess just losing Miles Sanders, I think he's going to pick up some of that work. I don't think but maybe Gainwell gets a little, maybe Swift, Penny,
15 touchdown season. I mean, what's the price on him to lead the league in rushing touchdowns?
I've looked at it. It's not
short, right?
Yeah, it's not that tasty. I'm also Tony Pollard. Fuck this guy. One, out on the Cowboys, the offensive line is not as dominant as it once was, and I just don't think he can handle the volume that people expect. I'm just skeptical of a guy this late in his career, all of a sudden at the running back position, doubling his volume. And
we've seen it.
Last year was the year Tony Pollard had the most touches he's ever had in his career. And how did it end? Broke his fibula, ankle injury.
He's a sports car. That's not my words. That's the running back coach.
Yes.
That's the running back coach. I do think that people are disregarding the fact that he's coming back quickly and that running backs tend to take a little bit. I mean, I just watched Barkley, who's maybe a year or two older, clearly look better a full year removed.
Yeah.
All right. Third. By the way, second round. I did see. I got 2 separate DMs about drafting Mahomes in that sea of running quarterbacks. Are you out on him? Because he's going in the same cost as Hurts, Allen.
No, I'm not out on Patrick.
So you would
Mahomes.
draft him in the second round. Cool.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm not out on him either. It's because it's.
I mean, you just sound like an asshole if you keep fading Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, this is the year we're not overthinking that. We're just, you know what, Kelsey and Mahomes are going to be great again. T Higgins, my guy, 3rd round. This one's easy.
Always, I'm always in on T Higgins.
I think in general, especially if you're drafting earlier and you get to that turn, like this is a pretty good scenario to end up with a T Higgins. Although Sean, I again did, these season managed leagues that I have to put more time into, and T Higgins goes even later. It seems like the running backs go higher. T Higgins goes later. The ADP over at Fantasy Pros reflects that. So I think when you're able to get T Higgins in a contract year, who, by the way, some of his Clemson teammates are playing for the New York Giants right now, just worth noting. But in a contract year, 2 rounds later than Jamar Chase, when we've seen the underlying numbers, they're generally pretty equal. I love that. And now we see Joe Burrow back. Maybe we won't have a slow start. I'm still thinking slow start, but T Higgins, my guy, 3rd round. My big time fuck this guy. I was not out on him to start the process. Out on him now. Travis Etienne.
Tank Bigsby hike.
A little bit of Tank Bigsby. A little bit of just done enough drafts. You know, when you do the best ball stuff, it kind of puts you to the test of like, actually, what are you doing? You're drafting. Who are you actually going to take? And I find myself passing on him so often. Only 3% in Best Ball Mania. Again, I'm up near 135 teams, so. Only 3%. Haven't been able to click the button too often. Out on Travis Etienne Jr. this year.
Yeah,
and like even the whole offense of the Jags, like we can't have Ridley and Kirk and Etienne and Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram all go in the first 6 rounds. Like that doesn't make sense, guys. Unless you think this is going to be the best offense in the league. Which no, thank you. Out. Fuck this guy, Travis Etienne.
For me, my guy, round 3, Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave is one of these rookie receivers from last year that I think could make a massive leap in year 2. Him and George Pickens are guys I want to get as much as I can. And to me, Chris Olave is going to be the guy. I mean, Michael Thomas, it's always a question what's going on there. Juwan Johnson, I get they signed to a decent contract, but Derek Carr has shown the ability to lock into a number 1 receiver, even in a bad season like last year, where the Raiders sucked. But Devontae Adams got there in a huge way, and I'm not comparing him necessarily to Devontae Adams, but you look at his yards per reception; they were certainly there. I mean, he was playing with Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston.
Oh, whoa! You're saying that as a positive, right?
I was gonna say I don't know if Derek Carr
who wrote that.
Derek Carr's a massive upgrade, but I think you could say he's maybe slightly better. And they play in a dome.
Better than who? Winston? I'm not letting you get past this point.
They
Free Jameis.
They play in the NFC South, so I mean, there's some appetizing defenses there that you're going to get a number of games. So I think Chris Olave, great opportunity for me. Fuck this guy, Mark Andrews. I am out on Mark Andrews this year. To add to it, he just is dealing with an injury. According to Harbaugh, he should be ready to go for week 1, but there's no guarantees. This to me is just, I think he's going to have a fine season, but I don't think he's going to dominate target share in the red zone. They kept working Isaiah Likely in the red zone, kept giving him targets. You look at the red zone targets between Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, it's much closer than corporate fantasy would lead you to believe. I think there's going to be a real opportunity for Isaiah Likely to make a leap. You bring in Odell, you draft Zay Flowers. I think that's going to eat into some of Mark Andrews' production. So I don't think he's going to pay off his ADP. I don't think he's going to be a top 10 tight end. So yeah, fuck Mark Andrews. I'm out.
Spicy.
I'm out.
Benedict Dantold wants to know, Sean. Yeah. I have the number 1 pick. Is the 2-3 turn too early for Olave? No. And honestly, like the biggest, as someone who's coming out of the deep best ball streets into the Yahoo ESPN streets, oh my goodness, they're getting some of this stuff wrong. Because Olave consistently goes in underdog at the end of the 2nd round in half point PPR, and once again fell deep into the 3rd round in the draft. I believe we did yesterday. So yeah, I don't get it, but yeah, that's not too early. You should fire on that. That's a great time to do like Devonta Smith, Chris Olave, T Higgins, lot of guys in the range. All right, 4th round. This is just a rinse and repeat record for me, but Keenan Allen in the 4th round. Okay. Are you not reading what's going on out there in Los Angeles, or I guess here in Los Angeles? It sounds like he's going to be heavily used in this offense. Again, Sean will tell me there's going to be an injury or something. I of course look past injuries, and I love Keenan Allen in the 4th round. Every time I'm taking him, every time I want to buy into this Chargers offense, and he's the number one guy.
The scary part about
30% target share in play. I think there's a greater gap than people think between Keenan Allen and everyone else. And while I still like Mike Williams in best ball because of his big play ability, and just in general, I think as long as he's healthy, he will produce big plays and score for that team. I think Keenan Allen is option number 1. I think Austin Eckler is option number 2, and I think option number 3 is Mike Williams. So
yeah, I mean, Keenan Allen does give you that consistency in a managed league, which is nice. The only scary thing about the Chargers is, knock on wood, there has not been a devastating injury or some Charger like type thing. Jesus. Right? We've been picking the Chargers for how many years? I can't ignore the elephant in the room.
Love getting Keenan Allen in the 4th round, which again, I find that when I remove myself from the situation in these underdog drafts and I pass on him in the 3rd round, he generally makes it back to me in the 4th round. So maybe I'm too high on him. I don't know, but yeah, every time in the 4th round, fuck this guy. I can't take Ken Walker, even though he's a dog, K9 dog, because Pete Carroll fucked around and drafted Zach Charbonnet, who I wanted to go back and watch them both in college. Zach Charbonnet is a better player. I wonder how quickly before he's doing more stuff. And I think this almost certainly just puts like Ken Walker not going to be involved in the passing game. And that's the reason why you can't take him up here.
Well, I mean, to me, it's super confusing, the situation. And this is where you can get kind of screwed. I feel like is taking some running backs in this round where you don't like the role isn't defined. I mean, Kenneth Walker does have those big plays. So to me, he's kind of a more interesting play in best ball because you would get a couple of those spike Kenneth Walker games.
7% ownership. So yeah, not clicking him too often.
But yeah, I'm with. He's certainly tougher in a managed league because the Charbonnet thing, the injury stuff.
You have to do both. If you draft him, you're committing to drafting Charbonnet later. I think in manage you have to. Because you got to be there to collect whichever one is the guy. That position is going to be productive, but if we don't know, and Pete Carroll's over there like pounding his chest about DJ Dallas, which he's going to be the passing down back now. Like, what are we doing, Pete Carroll? You're turning into Belichick.
Did you see the video of Pete Carroll throwing a football?
Is he not a good thrower of the football?
Oh, if
he's
producer
got some shoulder issues.
If producer Josh can look up Pete Carroll throwing the football. I think the NFL actually put the video out.
Oh no! What are they doing?
They were like, "Nice ball, coach."
Oh no!
Yeah, check the NFL out.
Building 7 on
Twitter, Josh. If you're able to pull that up, that thing is amazing. For me, my guy, and I think he's also your guy, Ryan. We talked about him a ton last year. Felt like it was a good play. All in on him this year. Dameon Pierce in the 4th round. Little nervous. Texans are dealing with some offensive line injuries. Don't like that, but the workload is here. He's an eye test guy. Yeah, you're bringing in a rookie quarterback. You're going to want to make it a little bit easier on him. Get him Dameon Pierce. The biggest thing is that in the preseason, Dameon Pierce was staying out there on 3rd down. So again, that was kind of the knock
Bobby
against him.
San Francisco running on attack. Let's go.
All right, breaking news. We have the Pete Carroll of the football.
Look at that throw.
That's actually not bad. The first one of his are like really horrible.
Oh my goodness, Sean! How dare you say so? One-handed. Oh, this is the
one.
Oh, that pump fake was. Oh.
Yeah, that was.
No look
one.
pass. No, break the internet.
I love how he's scrambling. Oh, this is
YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast. I mean, he's throwing
Pete
across.
It's
fucking
Pete
Josh
Carroll
Allen out there.
looks better than Russell Wilson. I'll say that. Honestly,
look at that throw.
You could just see him going, "This is how you do it, Russ. It's not that hard."
All right, I got to be honest. That I think you were a little hard on Coach. All right.
ZD Mills saying he loves Joe Mixon this year. Yeah, I'm in on him too. Didn't make my list here. The guy
crime pays, right?
Yeah. My fuck this guy for round 4, Breece Hall. I'm out. I love Breece Hall last year. He was great, super explosive. but he's not practicing. He's even saying he doesn't have the confidence to make all the cuts.
GPS data.
They signed Dalvin Cook. They have Israel Abanikanda.
Nailed it.
I think there's just
Izzy.
Yeah, there's just so many ways this doesn't pay off for Breece Hall. Why did they bring in Dalvin Cook? Because our boy Aaron Rodgers, aka our hero, wants a veteran running back they can trust in pass protection. I don't think Breece Hall is that. And we've seen it all the time. Like the year after the year of the ACL is when you want to ride that guy. Even Saquon, who again, very good athletically, that first year back from the ACL, it wasn't amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably a great case of like someone that
you lose a little explosiveness.
He appeared to have the Adrian Peterson alien DNA, but he didn't actually have it. And also, like the team might also just be aware of the gambling suspension that's coming. He was on that Iowa State team. He was in the same offensive room as some of those guys. Brock Purdy also was. So be careful.
Round 5,
5th round, obviously auto fire. Darren Waller. He's my guy. And by the way, have you noticed how the entire industry's caught up?
Yes.
His ADP is like just completely flatlining. Well, we were drafting him in like the 7th round. Me, and your mustache, drafting the shit out of him.
My guy Dallas Goedert jumping right in, Ryan. Much rather have Dallas Goedert.
Do you want to tell the podcast guys that are back what we did? In the summer,
we have a bet on who will score more fantasy points at the tight end position, either Dallas Goedert or Darren Waller. The loser has to shave a mustache. Yeah,
where'd this come from?
YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast. Josh made an incredible graphic. One of us will be shaved down to a mustache, and you have to wear it for 1 day for every point in the margin loss. So this is full point PPR. So again,
the original bet was half point, but I was gonna say since I don't know what we were thinking. Probably we were just underdog phase. Do we adjust it to full point?
Oh, if it was already, we can keep it a half point. That's fine.
I don't care. I'm a full point.
Underdog's
guy.
Easier to score. So yeah, I'm obviously in on my guy Dallas Goedert, and I'm obviously out on Darren Waller. I'm keeping the beard. You will not be seeing me wear a mustache come the end of the season.
See, you don't have to be out on him to be in on your guy. I'm not out on Goddard, but it's all about hate for you. Projecting.
Hate makes me stronger. Who are you out on?
Come
Ryan?
on, this was it's easy to. There's so many quarterbacks you can say that fuck this guy, which. Stay tuned to later in the show. Sean's on top of it, but Trevor Lawrence in the 5th round. Yeah. What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? If you're taking a quarterback this high, and they don't run, it better be Herbert, Burrow, or Mahomes. Do you feel like he's in the same class as those guys?
No.
Out. No thing. And again, like my thing on the Jacksonville offense. And stay tuned for more on it, but it's just I don't understand where it's coming from. Every year we do this in fantasy where if you add up the sum of all the draft capital you'd have to spend on an offense, it's greater than 100. And that's the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. There's no way all these guys pay off where they're being drafted. No way. Fuck Trevor Lawrence and his hair and his strange good looks.
It is funny. I saw one of those memes where it was like NFL quarterbacks if they were women, and it's like Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, and it's always weird because you look at the photo, you're like, oh, it's
not much of a change.
Yeah, kind of attractive. But the Trevor Lawrence one is they just did a photo of Trevor Lawrence. It was diabolical.
That's pretty mean.
Or they mixed it with the woman who looks exactly like Trevor.
Do you
Lawrence.
remember the conference call where they were like some lady thought she was on mute and was making fun of Trevor Lawrence? Oh, maybe we can pull that up during the show. We'll circle back to it. It's pretty funny. It might've been when he was in Clemson. He's talking about his mustache. Maybe it's pretty fucked up. All right. 5th round, 6th round.
Yep. Who do you got?
Chris Godwin. Yeah. I mean, you kind of pioneered the Bucks angle.
Been early.
You're a little heavier
Brian
on
Jensen
this.
is put a little dent in it, but I'm still in.
And I kind of figured I would either, depending on the way the round ADPs worked out, it was either going to be Godwin or Evans. I do think that this team is going to sling the ball around, and a lot of the hesitancy with these guys was, maybe they get traded. Maybe the quarterback sucks. I don't know. I think they're going to be taking shots. It looked like Godwin, when Mike Evans wasn't playing, was very clearly the guy. I think you have 2 receivers that, you have a team with questions about the running game, questions about the offensive line, questions about the quarterback, no questions about these guys being able to get open. So I have no idea who the third option is going to be. Maybe it's Cade Otton. He had a great camp, but which of course Sean knows as the deep tight end
specialist.
Cade Otton might be a valuable guy to bet early in terms of
First touchdown
because he is a starter, and I wonder how sharp everyone will be to that. But yeah, Chris Godwin looked good. Good old Penn State pick here. Yeah, I every time it gets to me in the 6th round, if one of the Bucs receivers is there, I'm like, oh, okay, sure, I'll grab that again because they're number one. They're like 1A, 1B on a team that's going to probably be trailing, probably going to have to throw the ball a lot. I don't know why people are out. Like, why are they not going in the 4th round? I don't know. So like D Hop's a good comp to me. D Hop's going in the 4th round. Chris Godwin's going 2 rounds later. Don't quite get that one. Fuck this guy. You gave Breece Hall out. I'll give out Dalvin Cook. Imagine having to draft both these guys. We talked about with Kenneth Walker. Okay, you have to invest a 4th rounder and like a 10th rounder on Charbonnet or whatever it is. In this case, it's a 4th and a 6th. That's too rich. And Dalvin Cook is a guy who the numbers have already exposed. He's been slowing down. He's not as explosive. And what's the number one question with this team? The offensive line.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm drafting either Jets running back.
Yeah, and then I just don't see how, like Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, you could make enough of a case to hurt the other one's case. Like if you're drafting Breece Hall or Dalvin Cook, like what are you seeing?
In best ball, Breece Hall. Every once in a while, maybe I pop a share in just in case, and it's just on teams where I'm drafting Jets and Browns. But other than that, just generally not that interested in this team. I know everyone's getting happy about Hard Knocks as if it's a good thing. I'm going the other way.
Round 6. This was an interesting round. I do also really like Chris Godwin. I went a little bit off the board here. Give me Cam Akers. I think whatever the weird relationship stuff they had going on last year towards the end of the season, they figured it out. Cam Akers finished really strong. He seems to have now there's some talk maybe he won't get all the 3rd down work, but again, they don't have a ton of playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. If you're the Rams coaching staff, if you're Sean McVay, how do you not get the ball in Cam Akers' hands?
You got to run the ball. And I think what he did down the stretch is a good example of just, okay, the team was in shambles. Things weren't going well, but look at those stat lines Cam Akers was putting up. So I think it works either way.
Yeah.
Like strangely, I think he's a safe pick.
Yeah. And again, no serious competition in my mind, ton of volume. I'm in on him. Fuck this guy, Javonte Williams. I love Javonte Williams as a running back overall, super explosive guy, but it was a horrible injury last year. I'm looking at some of the latest news an hour ago. Javonte Williams reportedly, quote, needs to be eased in by Broncos. Why did Samaje Perine come to the Broncos? Because Sean Payton said we use running backs a lot, AKA Javonte Williams is not going to be a full go. So if Javonte Williams isn't going to be a full go, what are you doing drafting him? There's healthier, like, wouldn't you rather have Cam Akers, who is going to be playing, is healthy going into the start of the season?
1% Javonte Williams.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if you're getting like a crazy deal on him, but you're just not.
That's a scary one too, because the offensive line looks bad. We're not really sure what the quarterback situation is going to be. You're trusting Sean Payton can do it, and I'd rather take the guy that can catch passes. And while I'm not saying Javonte Williams can't, I think Perine at minimum was brought in to be the passing down back because he's so trusted in the blocking game.
Brian, speaking of great deals, Underdog Fantasy, amazing deal. When you head over to underdogfantasy.com, use the promo code SGPN, 100% deposit bonus up to $100. I keep cranking out these Underdog Pick'em. Very easy. You just pick 3 of your favorite fantasy stats, either go higher or lower. You go 3 for 3. That's 6x what you put in, or go for it all and go 5 for 5 and get a 20x. Love it. I'll give another play out here. Give me Ryan Tannehill at the Saints, higher 210.5 passing yards. I'm high on the Titans in general. Maybe they get it done on the ground, but I think 210.5 on the road, very doable for this Titans offense, especially breaking in DeAndre Hopkins. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Ryan, we're only on round 7. I feel like we need to pick up the pace.
It's just having a conversation about football.
I know it's hard not to go long talking.
Yeah,
NFL.
and we have the same guy here, so I'm going to start with the fuck my guy.
Okay.
And easy. Evan Ingram, third Jag. I'm fading completely, and I get why you might be excited about him. You know, maybe in a tight end premium, you can talk me into him because the case for him is he catches a lot of balls. But how are we in on Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk? He's the third option in the receiving game, but ETN's going above him. I don't quite buy it. I'm out on Ingram. I have not been drafting him a ton. And you know what? I had this prediction when he had his good year last year. I said he's going to shit the bed after he gets paid. And so that's just the kind of guy he is. Obviously new scene down in Jags maybe helped him out, but I'm not looking to draft him at this point. If you miss on the elite guys, to me, I'm letting him go a little bit because I know I can get Njoku. I know I can get Chig. I know I can get Dalton Schultz a little bit later. So out on Evan Ingram.
For me, fuck this guy, Deshaun Watson.
I'm not touching Deshaun Watson.
Oh, what do you mean? Fuck this guy. Deshaun Watson might show up to the studio now, Sean.
No cap on that one, or cap, whatever it may be.
I don't know. Let me text my daughter.
What Deshaun Watson's looked horrible. He's looked bad in preseason. People keep making excuses. He's not who he used to be in 2019 and 2020 when he was racking up a bunch of rushing yards and throwing the ball downfield. I just do not see it. I don't think he's a good match in that offense. I think Nick Chubb is, if you're going to play anything on that Browns team, go all in on Chubb. Maybe I think Njoku gets enough touchdowns where it's interesting, but man, you don't need to draft Deshaun Watson. I would roll the dice with like Anthony Richardson that he's going to get there with the rushing stuff. I just don't see it for Deshaun Watson.
Why is everyone so sure he's like, oh yeah, now he's, and Elijah Moore too. What does Elijah Moore showed us? But he's going to go to Deshaun Watson and be fixed. I'm with you. Some of this stuff, some of the angles are a little confusing this offseason. Our guy this round.
Oh yeah.
George Pickens.
Love it.
Still crazy how far down the board he is on most sites rankings.
I mean, he has like Odell Beckham like catches in this preseason. Kenny Pickett continues to get better. I think the offense is going to be better. They solidified their offensive line. Now maybe Deontay Johnson eats into his production again. That's why he is farther down than like a guy like Chris Olave, but especially at price, I think he's a great value here.
Oh yeah, there's not anyone. I mean, I've started reaching for him just to make sure I get him because I think people are having that same effect where it's like, oh yeah, I want to come out of this draft with George Pickens, which I think prediction. The later you draft, I do think he's now consistently going to go ahead of Deontay Johnson, or at least very close, which makes Deontay Johnson quite interesting. Apologies, Sean. I had like 5 minutes left on one of my slow drafts. Round
Sorry,
8.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Round 8, another one we agree on, so we'll just bang it out. But it's Khalil Herbert.
Yep.
It's funny, a little controversial because when I originally did this, the ADP had him in the 9th round. Since the news came out, ADP plummeting now down into the 8th round. He's the starter. It sounds like it's not even really close. And so, anything you want to add? I just bell cow in an offense.
I was on again. If you've been listening to the futures episodes, Khalil Herbert's lead the NFC North in rushing yards. DraftKings promo code SGP had that special at 65-1. It's down to 20-1 for good reason. Khalil Herbert was always the guy. You look at the advanced metrics; he's dynamic. Roshan Johnson is a good draft pick, but it's going to be like 2 or 3 series of Khalil and then maybe one for Roshan. Deonta Foreman seems like pretty boxed out of the situation, and it's because they like Khalil Herbert. So
also injury.
Yeah. And he's dealing with some injuries. So
I do think that I'm still okay with the strategy in best ball of taking 2 of these guys and managed. It's tricky. I would probably just try to end up with Herbert and Johnson. Foreman can be a waiver wire ad later on. And then the fuck my guy, fuck this guy. Even though he's falling like crazy, I'm out on Hollywood Brown.
Creepy Baby in the YouTube chat says, "Don't sleep on Calvin Austin in the late rounds."
Is that Bowser's burner?
It might be.
Bowser has.
I actually kind of like Allen Robinson as my last best ball pick in when I have Steelers stacks, but Calvin Austin I could see as well. But it seems like Allen Robinson legit has the starting slot job in that offense.
I think people like Austin because there's more juice there, and people expect Allen Robinson to eventually fall down. But yeah, out on Hollywood Brown. 2 guys on the Cardinals who I think are tank affected: Zach Ertz and Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? For me, obviously, I'm out on Rain, Dakota Prescott.
Oh, that's too easy.
Oh, come on, Ryan. We have to say fuck the Cowboys.
That is a disgusting act.
Got rid of Kellen Moore, moving to a run heavy approach without much depth at the running back. It's gonna implode.
Deuce. He's the one Cowboy I've drafted an underdog a couple times because that would be funny. I just completely out on Hollywood Brown. I think he's going to be a big baby this year. Round 9. This guy, thanks to an injury, fell a little bit. He's already back on the practice field. There was some talk early that he was going to miss the first 3 weeks of the season. Treylon Burks is not going to miss the first 3 weeks. Sounds like he's live to play week 1. There was a lot of breakout buzz with D-Hop there to take some attention away, and just the idea of Chig running down the seam at all times. Treylon Burks, breakout candidate this year. Love drafting him this late. I love that we're getting a dip here because of the injury. And what do we love? Receivers more than rookies, second year guys.
Yeah, making that jump.
He couldn't have had a worse first year. So Treylon Burks, my guy for the 9th round.
For me, kind of just a war by attrition, but everyone else is hurt on the Broncos. Give me Cortland Sutton. I know Marvin Mims is interesting, but Cortland Sutton, I think, is just going to get a ton of volume because of the injuries surrounding the rest of that Broncos offense. I get it's not going to be a super dynamic offense, but you're getting. Don't you think he's going to be the number 1 receiver in Denver, Ryan?
Yes,
and you're getting him in the 9th round.
Yep, love it.
That makes sense to me.
A little worried about the offense there, but that's such a great price.
It's just so late to get a number 1 receiver in a Sean Payton offense. So.
And I think he could be a guy that.
And I think Stidham's. I was early on the Stidham stuff, Ryan. You know it. I mentioned it in the Broncos preview. I wish there was a way I could bet Stidham to be the quarterback at some point. I'm telling you,
I drafted a Stidham team.
Russell is on an incredibly short leash in Denver. Have some sourcing behind the scenes that it confirms that even more than what I initially kind of guessed.
Sourcing.
So I think it's a very short leash for Russell Wilson, and I think Sutton and Stidham could have some fun games late in the season.
Yeah, people might forget Sutton can be a true alpha. I wonder if we'll see it. Healthiest he's been in some time. Fuck this guy. Our guys have a theme, I think, but old receivers. In this case, Michael Thomas. I understand some people are buying in. No, thank you. Let someone else buy in. I want to say it was 2 years ago at this point where I watched someone buy in like the 7th round of an FFPC draft, only to find out I don't think he played a snap that year. So I know we all kind of had a revelation when we pulled up his stats from last year and saw that he actually played. Like still, I like when I rack my brain about last year, I don't remember Michael Thomas playing football. And so, yeah, I guess we could be horribly wrong about this, but I feel like I'm safely never going to have Michael Thomas on my team.
Yeah. And to me, kind of almost a similar area, Odell Beckham Jr. It's time, guys. It's time to move on.
We have Giants new number 13, Jalen Hyatt. Let's go.
Ryan, when was the last time Odell Beckham had more than 45 catches in a season?
Yeah, I mean, you're just remembering the Rams season. That's why you think he could do something, because he was relevant in that Rams Super Bowl run.
Kinda, yeah.
He was a big part of it.
But that was 2021.
No, I know.
He's getting up there in age. He's had multiple season-ending injuries. It's just a lot for me to unpack, and I'm skeptical of the idea of leaning into Lamar Jackson as a passer. So a number of reasons I'm out on Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, I see you fading the Ravens here. Ravens and Cowboys catching some serious shrapnel. All right, round 10. You mentioned Javonte Williams, and that's why Samaje Perine is such a great pick. I've drafted the shit out of him. If I were to, the top of the board for me in terms of running back exposure is comical, but guess what? Samaje Perine is right there at 16%. You nailed it. Javonte Williams might be started slow. We know Perine's going to be the pass down back because of his blocking. He's catching passes. This is full PPR. If he does what he did last year with the Bengals, become a trustworthy guy that's just out here for 3 downs.
Too.
I think people forget how sick that beard is. Like he's not one of these scat backs.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk of like, oh, he's out playing Joe Mixon.
So we were both very shocked to see Piron move on.
Yeah.
For this kind of price, but Piron is on record as saying it. He, Sean Payton said that this is what he was the clearest about what his role was going to be. And so I keep leaning back into that. He at least has a role. He might have a much bigger role.
You just kind of have to follow the money, especially guys who sign early on in free agency. Why did Sam Darnold sign day one for the San Francisco 49ers?
Oh, well, now we
because
know.
he talked to Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan's hand was like trying to keep his erection down.
Yeah,
because he thinks he's the next Steve Young. But it was, even on the outside, I didn't have access to that meeting. But you know what he said? If he signed day one there, he wasn't signing day one to be a third quarterback. The fuck are you talking about?
Opportunity.
He was always going to be the number two with a very shaky Brock Purdy at number one in a very good offense on a good team. That's a perfect destination for Sam Darnold. That's why he signed there day one.
I do.
Just do the math.
I have 3 or 4 Best Ball Mania teams with Sam Darnold. So hopefully that's overweight. My fuck this guy in this round. Come on, young Joka, aka Kadarius Toney. Will Kadarius Toney score more points than Samaje Perine? Well, actually, better question is Kadarius Toney versus Jalen Hyatt, who I'm not super high on.
Kadarius Toney, Ryan. He's gonna get those. They scheme up those touchdowns for him.
Does he play a snap?
Oh, he's gonna play week 1. So
be careful. You're saying that 2 weeks before the game. This is a guy who is soft as Charmin soft.
He's a guy that wronged the Giants community. Giants fans have a hard on for him.
No. I mean, the fact that he is constantly interacting with civilians is embarrassing.
Does have a chip on his shoulder.
But what I'm just saying, the way that people spoke after the injury, the way that he continues to get hurt, and when he comes back, what do you want to bet? Hamstring or some lower leg injury will happen. Guaranteed. He won't play week 1. I'll make that bet right now. Fuck this guy.
You know who's playing week 1? The starter for the Indianapolis Colts, the QB1 all the way, Anthony Richardson. He is my guy in this round 10. Now, he practices the PS passing model, aka pray and spray. Just throws the ball all over the place, highly inaccurate. But just watching him as a runner in the preseason, my God, is that a big boy? He is going to be a tough guy to take down. And I don't think Shane Steichen is opposed to drawing up some stuff for him near the goal line. Now without Jonathan Taylor, I think you're going to see a lot of designed runs for Anthony Richardson, especially near the goal line. I gave out Anthony Richardson to lead the league in quarterback rushing touchdowns at 15-1. I think that's a fun price. Looks even better now that Taylor's going to be missing some time at the very least. So yeah, I'm in on Anthony Richardson just because of the upside in this late round. Like if he's your quarterback and you didn't get an elite quarterback early, I still feel all right with that. Fuck this guy, Geno Smith, especially in fantasy. Like I just don't see it. Not much rushing upside. Kind of fell off the second half of the year. Prone to throwing interceptions. Yeah, I just don't see Geno Smith. So yeah, fading him.
Yeah, you can't take a guy like Geno Smith when there's still guys with legs on the ground or on the board. Like my guy for round 11, Dan Jones. You're taking Anthony Richardson's with Dan Jones.
No, I'm not gonna hype up Dan Jones, but
this is a crazy value.
Dan Jones over Geno Smith all day.
Would you like an update?
Sure. What is your best ball share on Dan Jones, Ryan?
In Best Ball Mania, 45%.
Wow.
And this is where, like I said, 130.
What happened? I thought you were a fan.
I would say I would be surprised if there is a single player with more Daniel Jones exposure in Best Ball Mania, Sean. I think I might be number 1. If we could reach out to Underdog and have them look behind the scenes, tell me if there's someone else with more Dan Jones teams. I doubt there will be. Obviously, the goal is to walk out of your draft in a managed draft with someone who can run. I think if you're not going to go after the guy who's going to run, and it's not going to be a Herbert, Burrow, or Mahomes, you're streaming. You don't care. You're just taking a guy you're playing matchup. So to be able to get the last guy who is going to be a goal line back, Dan Jones, 3rd in the NFL for quarterbacks with carries inside the 5, 3rd in the NFL and carries inside the 10. This is a guy who rushed for 700 yards and 7 touchdowns last year, Sean. Why is he going this late? The offense only got better. Everything came back. For Honda Civics were turned into Ferraris. This is disrespectful. Fuck this guy of this round. God bless the Patriots for bringing him back in the league. God bless Bill Belichick for telling him he's fat and making him lose weight. Zeke Elliott, you're crazy to draft Zeke Elliott. You are crazy to draft Zeke Elliott. And by the way, Josh, around the 57-minute mark, if we could isolate Sean saying that's a big boy running, we can maybe have some fun with that later. But yeah, in on Daniel Jones, aka Dan Jones, aka Vanilla Vic, aka DJ, because that's what his teammates call him. Out on Zeke, easy one there. Zeke, how many touchdowns does Zeke score this year, Sean? Gun to your head.
2.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm still in on Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, although it is weird, like they totally pruned their running backs on the 53. I'm sure they'll add some, but when they released their initial 53, it was just Zeke and Ramondre.
That's confidence that no one's going to fuck with you and steal your. Because Kevin Harris, they like.
Yeah,
they also cut all their quarterbacks, so who knows?
And they got them both back.
Any chance Belichick accidentally checked the guys he wanted to keep
and clicked on the wrong
Senior
box?
Moment.
For me, guy I like in the 11th round, Adam Thielen.
Oh.
I think there's a chance in a full point PPR he ends up being super sneaky. Just watching some of that preseason stuff with the Panthers, I have some shares of him in best ball. I kind of wish I had some more because he's just going to get a lot of garbage, easy stuff. A guy like I
Cole Beasley.
I feel like Frank Reich is a guy that's going to give some easy opportunities to Adam Thielen, give some easy completions to Bryce Young. He can go find that empty spot in the zone, sit down there. When you're drafting a receiver here in the 11th round, it's getting kind of thin, but I think Adam Thielen, I'm just not as high on Terrace Marshall, Mingo, 2nd round pick, which maybe he turns into something down the line, but with a rookie quarterback, I think you got to give some shine to the vet like Adam Thielen.
Yeah, Frank Reich is the classic. If you're spending some time in the old inner circle, if you know what I mean, you're one of Frank's guys. You're gonna get,
and Adam Thielen is, I think,
and friend of ours, former guest. Although he did lie right to our face. He did say they were going to work it out in Minnesota.
Yeah,
lied right to our face.
He's optimistic.
No, he lied right to our face. We'll have to be just evaluate that going forward.
Fuck this guy, Dalton Kincaid. To me, again, he's interesting, but I think there's just so many other options. Like if you don't get elite tight end, there's so many other options. I'd rather take Luke Musgrave because again, you're risking a little bit drafting a rookie tight end, but Luke Musgrave, is the number 1 tight end. They're scheming up stuff for him. Dalton Kincaid is competing with Dawson Knox, the guy they paid. I get they're going to put him in the slot and maybe the offense is better than Green Bay, but man, at ADP especially, I'm out on Dalton Kincaid.
I think especially if you think about usage in the red zone, right? Because it's fun to think about the 11.5 personnel, and he's going to be lined up out wide a lot. But even in that scenario, he's probably the 2nd option at best in that offense. And then when you get into the red zone, I think Diggs, Josh Allen, number 1 and 2 in some order. And I have a feeling Dawson Knox will be deployed heavily in the red zone as well. So he might be the 4th red zone option. So yeah, I'm not as high on him. And I don't even think you mentioned the rookie tight end angle, but
yeah, no, I did. I mean, especially
you said that while also liking Musgrave.
No, and the difference is Musgrave isn't competing with a veteran for the starting spot, 4 snaps, 4 targets.
I don't think they're competing for the same spot. I do think they'll be on the field a lot, but I'm with you. I think when you're the 4th option in the red zone, again,
I guess
you can do bet. You want one tight end.
I see what you mean by that he's not competing directly, but I still think in the red zone,
he's competing in the red zone.
Yeah, with Dawson.
That was my thesis. Yeah. I think Dawson Knox is the 3rd option. Like Cook's in there too, probably. So like we're talking
Damian
about
Harris is in there.
Yeah, we're talking about
Damian Harris got a ton of the goal line stuff in that last.
Probably 4th or 5th option in the red zone, which you'd rather take a tight end with a little bit better upside than that. Probably hoping you have a tight end already, unless you're diabolical like Sean. I guess you had Dallas Goedert in your example. All right, 12th round, Elijah Mitchell. I think we're complete. Like no one is talking about the idea that Christian McCaffrey has ever gotten hurt before. And he now plays on a team who just shows that injury regression maybe isn't something that regresses when you're John Lynch and Shanahan. I don't know. Mitchell gets hurt. He always gets hurt, but he has big games. And I think as long as he's healthy, he's a guy that maybe you can just cut loose if he gets hurt. But as long as he's healthy, he's in he's on a team where the backup running back is going to be valuable week to week. We saw it last year. There were games where he kind of had a clear role and McCaffrey had a very different role. So getting him this late, I think people are forgetting what this Niners team is going to have to be this year. We're not high on Purdy. Maybe we're high a little bit on Darnold, but either way, they're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to be easy passes to their playmakers, get them in space, use that speed. And so I somehow I thought I went through and corrected all this, but I'll throw my fuck my guy, which I was going to fuck Adam Thielen.
Wow, Ryan, how dare you?
I don't want him. I mean, I see your point. I absolutely see your point, but
Just
no way.
like those young, sexy rookies.
No way would I draft. Oh, and this is a little bit too, just to kind of speak towards. I'd rather be taking my receivers like I did earlier in the draft and reserve these rounds for running back bullets. Because think about it, like Adam Thielen, what's his ceiling? He gets you through a couple tough weeks early in the year, and then one of these elder alphas takes over. Like you're not ending the season with Adam Thielen as the leading catch getter in that team, are you? Or are you suggesting he could? Okay,
I think he might, just because
you're an injury prediction guy. You don't think he's getting hurt? Old ass white guy.
Maybe.
Not that color matters, but
again,
seems like he's an injury guy.
You have a decent chance in my mind of a receiver one this late. In the draft, I think is an interesting pick. And just the fact that he has the most experience on that roster.
Yeah, he lied to our face. He lied to our face.
So you're fading Adam Thielen.
But I'll keep.
I like him better in the 12th round. I should have got your ADPs right.
I mean, again, that it clearly. I'll update to someone who's appropriate while you're talking.
For me, my guy, give me Jacoby Myers, who I might end up taking earlier than Adam Thielen, but
definitely.
But again, was just going off the ADP of where they're at for this round exercise. Again, Josh McDaniels brought him in from New England, brought him in specifically for a role. He's playing, opposite Devontae Adams. There's a ton of Darren Waller targets and receptions, and well, not really that much because he was always hurt, but there's some Darren Waller stuff that someone has to pick up. And I think you saw the number 2 receiver in the Raiders offense, aka the Matt Collins role. I think Jacoby Myers can definitely fill that role. So yeah, give me Jacoby Myers. As far as fuck that guy, Russell Wilson. I mean, if you're starting Russell Wilson in a fantasy league, you're a goddamn maniac. What are you thinking? No rushing upside, very little passing upside, just looks horrible out there. Yeah, no way am I drafting Russell Wilson. Ryan, do you have any Russell Wilson exposure?
1 or 2 just on teams.
There was probably a couple times where I'm like,
they pair with the Chargers well. Like that's the week 17 stack. All right, I updated because we were both kind of right. Anyway, Adam Thielen, I'll just scrub him off. I don't want to throw your hate, but I bumped Elijah Moore up around to round 12. Fuck that guy for the same reasons you said. Fuck Deshaun Watson. I'm out on that offense.
The passing offense.
I don't understand why people are talking themselves into the situation. Elijah Moore, don't get it. The only guy I'm willing to really draft on that team is Njoku. I think follow the money they paid him. So. Again, would rather be drafting running backs at this point in the draft. So yeah, that's the round 12 stuff. Round 13, I'll speak for both of us because I'm sure you would have written him down as well. Tyler Algier, again, I think he's even going to be maybe startable to start the season because I really don't know what it's going to look like. Again, he maybe Bijan gets a lot of work and Tyler Algier is a complimentary back getting 12 carries a game. He's going to get the goal line work, I think, Sean, and so that could be valuable enough. But I think the upside is that he is more of their every down running back, and Bijan is doing a lot more pass catching. So getting him at the end of drafts, being able to kind of evaluate the situation after a couple of weeks and see, I think we'll be feeling pretty good about our position at that point. Sean, you want to? Let me turn your volume down before you talk about your guy for this round. All right, we're ready.
Give me Chigoziem Okonkwo in the 13th round. It's weird, the DeAndre Hopkins thing scared everyone off. This athletic freak, a guy who leads the tight ends in yards per route run, just a dog. Super fun guy to watch. Super athletic. He's just a really good tight end and he's not a rookie. Year 2 situation here. I'm all over Chig here. Think he's a great pickup. I'm optimistic, obviously, on the Titans offense, have been all season. And yeah, I'm gonna like him week 1, and I'm gonna like him a lot of weeks throughout the season. I think he's got no other real competition at the tight end position. I mean, he succeeded last year, even as a rookie, kind of going head to head with Austin Hooper. He fought his way onto the field and got involved in that offense. So I think this is a great breakout year for my boy Chig Okonkwo.
He showed up good in a lot of that, like yards per route run, yards per target stuff, like the efficiency stuff. So that's exciting. Fuck Jameson Williams. Normally, this is the kind of guy I'd love to draft and stash, but the team, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they might be forced into needing him, but it does seem like he has. Let's just say he's not made Dan Campbell happy with his work ethic.
No,
which is a problem. Soft tissue injuries. Sounds like the team is blaming his lack of preparation. Like that's not good. And so I don't need. Let someone else
obviously the suspension alone, you could be out on him, but the fact that he's dealing with the injury stuff, the team being butthurt on him, it's just kind of a nightmare start.
Listen to this: you can draft Tyler Boyd at the same exact point. Yeah. Guy in a contract year in a known great offense where he's the third guy with the ceiling of one guy goes down, he's the number 2. Jameson Williams is missing 6 games, and you have no idea what he's going to do when he gets back.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Jameson Williams, you play him a couple weeks in DFS or something like that, but I don't in a draft, a season long draft. I think you're wasting a roster spot. Fuck this guy, Devin Singletary. People were getting cute. I think drafting Devin Singletary at all.
System play. Just simply it's the Niners offensive scheme. They generally work a second running back in.
Yeah, I guess
that's all it is.
I'm slightly more out on him just because of the third down snap share we saw that they clearly gave to Dameon Pierce. So I think that third down role that people thought Singletary would be getting involved in more, I just think they're going to keep Dameon Pierce out there. We'll see. But again, Dameon Pierce is not giving up those touches, those catches without a fight. So I think there are better running back bullets this slate.
Yeah, and you didn't want him last year in a much better situation on the Bills. Why do you want him this year? I'm high on the Texans, but not everyone is. That's it. We did 13. We're not giving you a kicker or defense. Sorry.
No,
we don't have kicker tiers on this
board,
program.
Ryan, couple off the board sleepers. Who do you got?
Again, generally at this point, it's running backs. So let's talk about some guys who I think. I mean, let's just start with the guy we both like, Kenny Gainwell.
Oh, dog.
Starting running backs going basically undrafted is crazy. Again, this is why you take those receivers up front. That's why you want to, if your league starts 3 receivers and a flex, you want to win the race to 5 receivers. If your league starts 2 receivers and a flex, you want to win the race to 4 receivers. You always want to have that. I have a receiver in my flex +1. You want to have the best quality there, and then you can just fire bullets at the running back position, like Kenny Gainwell, who's going undrafted in these formats. Like my second guy, again, Kenny Gainwell confirmed, Sean, listed as the starter. Yeah. Understanding that the goal line back is Jalen Hurts. Kenny Gainwell is the starter.
We'll see. There's no clear answer, but Kenny Gainwell is certainly going to get enough looks, enough. He's clearly the 2-minute drill guy.
So pass catching.
Yeah.
So gun to your head as an Eagles insider.
Yep.
Snap share for the running backs this season. There's 4 of them.
So all 4 stay healthy.
All 4 stay healthy.
Okay.
Which obviously
Trey Sermon was cut as I predicted the entire time.
Nice job. Well, some Eagles beat reporters were lying to us.
No, you got to listen to me, Ryan. I know what I'm.
Well, that's why I'm asking you. Who? Okay. So snap share.
So I'll say. Here's what I'll say. I'll say
25% each.
No, 37% for DeAndre Swift, 17% for Rashad Penny. That gets us to 54.
Yep.
And then 6% for Boston Scott, 40% for Kenny Gainwell.
Josh, put that on a graphic and release it. Breaking news.
I think Kenny Gainwell is going to get the most, but it obviously not nearly what Miles Sanders got, but certainly valuable enough to be drafted.
Best ball no brainer in managed. You can draft him late enough to see what it looks like week 1 and go from there. Another guy I love, running back, Raheem Mostert. They keep saying they're going to trade for someone, and they keep not trading for someone.
Not trading for Jonathan Taylor.
Achane. I mean, when you say something's week to week in in training camp, that's a problem.
Well, and Achane also was pretty far down the depth chart as well. So it wasn't just the injury stuff. It was like, this guy's not quite there.
It's Jeff Wilson. It's Raheem Mostert right now. Guess what? Jeff Wilson also not practicing. So late again. If you go with a hero RB build, so like say you took Barkley and no one else. Raheem Mostert's a guy you can draft go again off the board and probably going to be startable week 1. Sean, who do the Dolphins play week 1? Because is that going to be a high scoring game? Oh, they play the Chargers.
Look out.
So again, that
but the Chargers are really good at stopping running backs, right?
Oh yeah, they part the sea. So again, Raheem Mostert, you could probably, we could have the same conversation about Jeff Wilson. I think Mostert being healthy is key here. So Mostert, late, awesome pick. Sean,
yes.
You want to throw one out?
Andrew is talking about Roshan Johnson. When does the Roshan Johnson love come?
We
up?
talked Khalil Herbert. Earlier.
Yeah, we talked about how Khalil Herbert's going to get way more carries and touches and is better.
If you draft Khalil Herbert, are you also drafting Johnson potentially? Because it's a running back situation that's going to be productive.
No, because to me, we still are competing with Justin Fields. So the idea, Khalil Herbert isn't.
So you don't need two, just one.
Khalil Herbert isn't a true number 1 because Justin Fields is the true number 1. So Roshan Johnson, while he's now the second string, he's actually the third running back.
And I also see the chat referring to him as Rojo. That's Ronald Jones. Don't. That's disrespectful to. I mean, let's hope he's not that bad.
Brian Tomcat in the YouTube chat wants to know Kendre Miller worth a late round pick.
Yeah, we were discussing this in our ETH league. I think what makes him different than some of the other guys there at that point is, depending how deep your bench is, he's a 3rd round pick. They like him, and Jamal Williams, Alvin Kamara are both there. So you got to see what's going to happen. No injuries yet, but they are going to run the rock. And I do like Miller as a player. So maybe not in the format where you're only having 4 or 5 bench spots, but if it's deeper than that, maybe. But again, the guys that I just listed, I like way more than him.
Yeah, for me, one of the off the board sleepers, I've been pounding the table for him, Luke Musgrave. If you've watched any of the preseason, Jordan Love has a really good connection with him. They're using him a ton in the red zone. They're doing tight end screens for him.
Beavers.
It's going to be I think he has. Now, tight ends don't ever win offensive rookie of the year, but I think he's really going to shock people with the amount of production he has.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy,
especially considering draft position.
It's crazy because we just waited in our high stakes league. Last tight end off the board was Chig.
Yeah,
and so
that's the point. Like, I think if you follow this stuff enough, either shoot your shot with Kelsey. Maybe a Goddard, maybe a Waller, but then other than that, there's a plenty of these other.
There's only so many guys that can be elite from the target share standpoint. Everyone else is kind of the same. Are they going to score touchdowns? What's their usage in the red zone?
Last one for me, as far as off the board sleepers, Richie James. I think there is just. I heard it on a show. I forget which show, but they go Patrick Mahomes led the league in passing yards last year. Okay. A lot of that's going to go to Kelsey. Who are the other guys? We still have not gotten that answer. Sky Moore seems like one of the guys. Richie James, to me, as a guy who watched Andy Reid offenses very closely for a number of years, Richie James is a guy who knows how to get open and knows how to catch the ball. And Andy Reid can do the rest. He can scheme you open. If you can get him reliable pass catching with like good field awareness, you don't have to have the explosive stuff. Like, Kadarius Toney is a more explosive version of Richie James, but he's also more dramatic. The injuries, the off the field, all his other like drama that's
he's
attached
more
to
dramatic.
Well, Richie James is just a lunch pail guy who shows up and is going to catch balls, catch touchdowns. I think he's a interesting best ball play and like an interesting last pick in your managed league as well.
He's going to be in the I would imagine he'll be in the red zone package. A lot of talk about his ability to get on the same page with Patrick Mahomes in terms of the option stuff that he likes to run. So I wouldn't sleep. I mean, unless you think Sky Moore isn't going to give them any reason to be frustrated with him again, I would certainly think that Richie James is going to be heavier used. And then as far as the Justin Ross stuff, it sounds like he is going to be like a rotational player. So, when I think about what's the usage in the red zone here, could Richie James be the number one wide receiver option in the red zone? When it's not a gadget play to young Joker?
Not Kelsey, yeah. 100%. I think he could be
the number one wide
receiver.
Yeah, come on, I qualified it, dude.
No, I obviously
let's
I knew
get
what
with the
you're
fucking program. All right, one last one for me.
Man in the box is waiting, Ryan.
Oh no.
Here you go. I'll let man in the box.
Tajay Spears. He's the only kind of handcuffy guy I'm willing to throw out. He's looked electric in the preseason, and they are looking to get someone else that isn't Derrick Henry more touches. We're high on the Titans. Again, if I've taken Derrick Henry, I'm definitely drafting him with Tajay Spears. If I don't draft Derrick Henry, I'm willing to get a piece of Tajay Spears as well. So, yeah, that feels like a worthy spot. And then again, it's a handcuff, so you're not really looking to make a quick decision. That's why it's good to pair him with some guys you can snap fire. Okay, it's not working. Let me cut this guy because I got to keep Spears around. This offense is going to cook this year. All right.
That was fun, Ryan. Got me jacked up for fantasy. Will we do one more best ball draft?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless something drastic happens, I'm going to be down in San Diego doing a little youth soccer, but I figured Sunday night we could pop on and do I'm going to try to make it my 150th Best Ball Mania.
Locking up the max entries. If you're not an Underdog Fantasy with the pick'em with the best ball, I don't know what you're doing.
Look how pretty this
promo
is.
code SGPN, youtube.com/sportsgaming podcast. Make sure you that subscribe button. Get in our college football bankroll challenge up to $3,000 up for grabs. NFL right around the corner. Oh man, it's time. Love it.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, Stacking the Money Green. He's Ryan.
I can't wait for people to shit on our selections there.
Kramer, let it ride.